in Fort Worth we played, and that day I hit 18 greens, and I hit it within 10 feet, maybe 10 times. And Bob Colby came to me after the round. He was our third player. He says, "You know what Ben Hogan said about you?" I said, "What did he say?" He said, "That little man can really play some golf." If Ben Hogan would have putted well, he would have shot in the mid-50s every day.
He was hitting drivers. I've never seen anyone to this day and hit them the same distance, the same direction.
His concept was to throw the right knee at the ball.
People say Hogan won't ever talk to you. Well, Hogan talked to me a lot.
Hogan was the best striker from tee to green that ever lived, without a question.
I'll tell you what he really was good at is dancing.
I go back a long way with Hogan. Great admiration for him as a golfer and to me as a person.
Ben Hogan had a tremendous impact on everyone who watched him play the game. Please enjoy this episode of Mr. Hogan, starring Cheech Rodriguez.
I'm only 81. I'm going to live to be 120.
Yeah.
I'm Gary Player, and you're watching MSE TV.
Cheech Rodriguez is one of the most beloved figures in the history of golf. With 30 wins on the PGA and Champions Tours, he has been entertaining audiences since 1960. Now, Cheech was a fierce competitor with his Toreador dance that he was known for, but would you believe he has an even bigger heart? I know him well because of the Cheech Rodriguez Foundation in Clearwater, Florida, where I'm from. Cheech's foundation has helped educate over 30,000 students through the decades. And would you believe Jack Nicklaus helped him raise his initial funding through the Cheech and the Bear Foundation?
Well, it's great to be here, Cheech, with you and
so
Jack to sort of reminisce and talk about Cheech and the Bear. I know when we started it 30 years ago, people said, "Oh, you can't do that, it can't be done," and we did it. You've done some great things for these kids. Like everybody else who started playing golf in that era, Cheech is a tremendous fan of Ben Hogan. So please enjoy these stories of Cheech Rodriguez and his memories of the Hawk. Mr. Rodriguez.
Cheech.
Cheech, such a pleasure to meet you, and you have a special guest with us today.
GT they call him, but I call him the little bear.
Little bear.
He's 14 years old. He's 6'1", and he might become the next Jack Nicklaus, and because well, I'm teaching him a little bit.
If Jack in his prime played today's golf ball and driver, he'd hit it 400 yards, I imagine.
I tell you what, if Jack was playing with the equipment that we play now when he was young, we would have to let him play through. You won't be safe on any green. I got to tell you the way I met Ben Hogan. We played at the Carling World Championship in Oakland Hills. I never forget that day because him and Jerry Barber, I'm paired with him, and they're both on the tee, kind of waiting for me. And I walked up there and I looked at him. I'm very respectful. I said, "Mr. Hogan, I'm Cheech Rodriguez." He said, "I heard about you." And I said, "Mr. Hogan, I know you have a handicap. You have a bad knee. And I'm asking the permission from you to fix your ball marks." And he said, "Gee, I really appreciate that." And he liked me after that. You know, when I shook his hand, I thought I was shaking the hands of a carpenter. Because this man had calluses that you can't believe. He probably hit 1,000 balls every day to become as great as he was. And one of the biggest thrills of my life was that I played with him maybe 8 tournaments. And in Fort Worth we played, and that day I hit 18 greens, and I hit it within 10 feet, maybe 10 times. And Bob Colby came to me after the round. He was our third player. He says, "You know what Ben Hogan said about you?" I said, "What did he say?" He said, "That little man can really play some golf." I played all those tournaments with him, and I tell you what, if Ben Hogan would have putted well, he would have shot in the mid-50s every day. You never saw anything. He was like Michelangelo. and Da Vinci. You know, he was an artist with the golf clubs. I never saw anybody like that.
Cheech, it's such a great pleasure. I've watched for years, and I've enjoyed you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the great example. And GT, it's an honor to make your acquaintance. I can't wait to see what's coming in the future.
I remember the greatest Filipino player ever was Ben Arda,
Ben Arta.
not you.
So I have to admit, I'd never heard of Ben Arta before Cheech brought him up, but he won 15 times in Asia. What a wonderful time spending the day with Cheech Rodriguez. I hope he lives to be 120 because the world of golf is a much more wonderful place with the presence of the legend Cheech Rodriguez.